Know thyself. These were the two words inscribed on the entrance to the Oracle of Delphi. Philosophia begins with this injunction. And so Plotinus begins where we all must necessarily begin, with oneself. Who am I? What am I? Human experience contains many different facets. Bodily sensation, emotion, conscious and unconscious thought, memory, intuition, and more. Which of these aspects are more essential, and which are more peripheral? Can we establish a meaningful priority among these manifold aspects of the self? In a sense, Plotinus reimagines the primary question, asking instead, where am I? That is, where exactly do we locate consciousness, ontologically speaking? Through empirical investigation, we know that consciousness is centered within the brain, but this is a purely intrinsic explanation. Plotinus, by contrast, wishes to pinpoint the unique quality of the intrinsic human experience in order to gain inner clarity regarding our relationship to ourselves and to the world around us. In short, Plotinus begins by drawing his ontological map with an arrow indicating you are here. Plotinus calls our intrinsic experience of consciousness psyche, which we usually translate as soul. We should be careful to understand Plotinus' use of this word, however. The meaning of the soul has been filtered through centuries of theological and philosophical interpretations, which we today often unknowingly assume the individual soul as a Cartesian ego, or as some kind of vague, ghostly ether substance. For Plotinus, it is a given that soul is not to be centrally identified with the material body itself. Yet it is undeniable that there is some sort of relation between soul and body. How does soul and body interact? Where do our various kinds of human experiences arise? Plotinus offers three schematic alternatives. Number one, within soul alone, disconnected from the body. Or two, in some kind of combination of soul and body. Or three, something entirely other than soul or body. Plotinus applies these same three alternatives in relation to our experience of sensations, affections, discursive reason, etc. After a cursory examination of these three possibilities, Plotinus opts for structure number two, which indicates an overlapping of soul and body, but which also crucially shows a significant degree of independence of the two. It is in this sense that Plotinus speaks of a lower part of soul and a higher part, which correspond to that part of soul which overlaps with the animate body, the lower, and that which is independent of body, the higher. With this model in mind, we can now more clearly locate, ontologically, where sensation, emotions, thought, and so on properly reside. This overlapping of soul and body reveals a key principle to understanding Plotinus' thought, guiding his entire philosophy, and is the principle of participation. The one, which binds all of reality into one integral whole, emanates downward through all the levels of being, producing the world by virtue of its ontological unity. In this way, Plotinus' model is hierarchical, comprised of higher and lower levels of being. Each level exists in relation to the one next to it, below and above. Each successive step lower in the Plotinian hierarchy participates in the step directly above it. The perception of the separate ego is only due to soul looking downward, so to speak, toward body, with its own particular limited perspectives. Limited, that is, by space and time. Body and soul, insofar as they overlap, are conditioned by culture, history, personal dispositions, individual experiences, and a unique spatio-temporal perspective. It is in this lower part of soul which we could identify with the human personality, or ego. We appear to be limited, bound consciousness, but this occurs to us only by looking through the narrow, material partitions of the body. Soul is not bound in the same way that body is.